Probably my favorite player on the server to watch. The guy has got literally. Is there any better example of a caster's curse that I've seen in my life? That was sorry.
Well, we know who you're rooting for. You're rooting for Myztro, using your powers for evil to help them out. But no, yeah, Latromi, like he's very explosive. Would you rate him as probably one of the best combat skills players in Europe or the world?
I'd put him in the top 5 for sure. The guy is I don't even think he's reached his full potential as well. When he was coming from Quake Live, he was a guy who kind of exploded seemingly out of nowhere, although he put a lot of time into Quake. When he started going competitive, he just immediately put a mark on the scene. And I think he's very capable of continuing to do that with a World Championship under his belt already. Plenty more to expect from Latromi in the future, and possibly here at Tours. Well,
we're about to go into our first squad. Only a 1 kill difference between the two teams so far. Keep that in mind, his squad's going to spawn in. Latromi most likely going to be given it, but no, Sparty comes in from behind and immediately gets fragged. A great focus fire by Cooler and Latromi. And speaking of Latromi, a very unique Galena player. A lot of his totems are selfish, and I don't even mean that in a bad connotation. It's just, it fits his style. He likes to go for these fights. He likes to kind of go off by himself. And he always had that ability to use in these situations, and his combat skills justify being able to do that. But only, what, 1 kill off the quad?
He's not found much at all. Yeah. Hasn't been able to really even see the enemy. He's taken a bit of damage. Right at the beginning, he had no stack, and I think there was a discussion between Cooler and Latromi, like, do you want to suicide and give it to me? And Latromi was like, no, I can stack up in a second heavy soon. And maybe they lost a couple of seconds there and lost track of where Myztro were.
And unfortunately, Cooler did not have Piercing side up either to help with that. Cooler's been really well known, at least in Duel, to use that off cooldown as soon as possible, as often as possible. I think on average, he gets more of those off than most players. So
we're seeing something very slow again, and this is once more incredibly typical. Like, sure, you've got the stronger position over by rail, but we've got more frags than you right now, so we're going to force the plays onto you. Look at that, Cooler being aggressive, Latromi down below, getting himself the heavy, finishing off that kill. You saw the totem, Latromi, come on! I'm calling you out here for being amazing.
He's handicapping himself, you know, for the one-on-ones. He's like, I have to help you out. You know,
walking into that totem, that was... I think that even gave that 2-for-0 trade for Myztro.
It's not like he was berserked either, or he was piercing sighting to like not know if it was his or the enemy's. They just straight up commentator cursed him again, Zoot.
Yeah, I'm going to stop it. We're on Sparty right now.
He's good rocket.
I can't. Well, did I curse him as well? I don't know.
Everyone you go to dies.
Back to Latromi. Surely you can't. Oh, he can't get the mega health. All right, Cooler, you got it. No man controls Cooler.
5 seconds.
Cooler controls Cooler. Oh, he did get a frag though. We're all right, and it's just his protection. Latromi trying to take that Sparty over here, but it is going to be Sparty getting. He's still challenging with a machine gun, and it's a pretty remarkable amount of damage that he did.
It's so difficult. I think Galena is probably like one of the strongest champions in the game to give protection to, because you can never really fully understand how much health she has, because you could just pop a totem down and then, hey, I'm up 50 HP, which turns into almost 100 because of the 66% damage reduction, and it's very hard to get a good read. But a good job again by AMD, just like Myztro did on the quad, to run away and prevent him from getting kills.
Oh, and we just had a 2-for-0 again. That tied up, but Razy suicided. I don't actually know what happened to Razy there. Making it 12-for-11. They just managed to pick that up just at the end of protection. And here we've got a rush towards Heavy, but it's just been taken already, so it's going to be another 2-for-0. AMD leaking some frags unnecessarily at the moment. And maybe they're going to be forced to play a little bit more aggressive with a couple more frags to go the way of Myztro.
Yeah, again, we're seeing a lot of... I'd say most of the EU teams don't... No, I can't even say that, at least from the past, from what I've seen. We've seen the North American teams really invest into holding rail room, where EU teams have not necessarily put that same kind of emphasis on this position. Cooler trying to push in. Tromi's able to clean up the kills. Cooler's able to help provide with the damage from those rockets.
That was an awesome amount of damage that Cooler did. Sure, Latromi got both of the kills, but most of the legwork there was done by Cooler, so great play from him.
A great transition from those double kills to take Mega too, to try to get some semblance of control. They're going to be above Heavy when it respawns back in. Cooler's still looking to pick up the rail at the moment. But I don't really see Myztro being able to get the Heavy, because they don't have rails, because they have been wiped out. They don't have the ability to fight from super long range. Maybe they have the LGs, yes, but the poke damage they're going to take before they even get in is going to be so detrimental to their cause. And yet, Razy's going to steal it away.
There was no rockets left for Cooler, so he couldn't put that further pressure onto Razy. I'm going to go over to him. He's the one with the big stack. before. Myztro got tons and tons of damage over there to Latromi. Cooler as well. Nasty rocket. Rail has missed, but this is surely going to be the power up for Myztro. I think they've got it already.
Sparty had it.
Cooler?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sparty picked it up. Even there has to be some miscommunication there because, again, Razy backed up to pick up the quad, and because that, he took like a lot more damage from a rocket, whereas Sparty already had it, and then Cooler came in from the side with a double rocket to pick up double kills, and now he's going to get, hopefully for him, a double as he gets a double, as they cross the beams like in Ghostbusters and get him down to 2 HP. Not really going to accomplish much off the quad, but again, not going to get a lot off of it, but they did deny it away from Myztro and prevented them from having a snowball.
That's... You know what, the damage in itself was just fantastic from them pushing away at the same time. Good coordination then, it really limited the amount of damage that they were going to be taking.
It's so risky to jump in that corridor when you're trying to push. Just one rocket out of Sparty, like well-timed and well-placed, could have knocked Cooler off the map.
Oh, that rocket coming back over towards him. Cooler could have almost finished off a brilliant combo if he was able to hit the rail beforehand, but did not work out for him. Incredibly close game as we are moving to the halfway point.
I think Myztro EU should be happy about actually getting the draw onto either AMD or the pump if that happened. I think they're going to fare much better against an enemy they know than an enemy they do not know, like Liquid. Even though they've obviously played them, they have way more experience against these European teams. I think that's something we should keep in mind when it comes to a lot of the matches we have today and even yesterday. Playing the enemy you know is a lot easier.
Crazy chasing through the teleporter there, just as the totem did damage. That'll help him out a heap. We are building up for protection. Rocket, perfect stuff from Razy. It's not necessarily going to lock down protection for them though. There's still 10 seconds, respawns. They can come back, try and spread further.
He's actually trying to prevent them from getting rockets to fight back, and he already has Rail himself. And now they know the direction they're going to be coming from, over towards Mega. At least one of them. They're trying to come in from different sides. Cooler's going to be the first one in. Cooler's getting focused on immediately. Latromi comes in, he gets the first frag. Razy, can he do much about this? He's going to get the protection. He gets knocked off the map! That's going to be unfortunate for him, but fortunate for AMD. And actually technically fortunate for Myztro. Yeah, it's bad that he did die, but at least he reset the protection.
He just flew out again.
That's that's actually 3 suicides for Razy this map.
Yeah. And it's mostly in that spot, it seems. That's going to allow...
That's exactly what I was saying. It's so rough to jump in that corridor.
Yeah.
Rockets can just knock you off the map.
And so if you're double jumping as well, you can kind of pick up that extra vertical momentum.
Yeah.
I don't know if actually Razy did that then, but with bounce pads and everything intact, it all can go pretty nuts. Cooler losing his life there, but that was up the bounce pad. We see Myztro EU settling on rail area for the moment.
I saw Sparty there when he put the totem down. I could tell like there was a call in the comms to say, hey, let's heal. And Razy didn't come back, so he just took it himself because he didn't want to waste any time. Cooler, that's some great rockets from below.
Wow.
It's a second as well. I believe we're going to be heading to comms sometime throughout this map just to hear what's going on, at least with the Myztro side, because they're the ones definitely behind at the moment. Even though it's 23-23, I feel like it's not really been their game so far. But then again, I say that. Razy suicided 3 times and Sparty twice. So that's 5 suicides for them in the team. It would actually be up 29-23 at this point.
It's absolutely nuts. But you know what? That's one of the risks on this map. There's a lot of out of bounds circled around. Rockets can be so deadly. And it's a very real possibility. And again, you might even want to deliberately run out. If you're low on health, but you manage to pick up the power-up, so you know what, actually, I would rather leave the map than allow you to take the power-up from me.
Cooler's got so many double frags.
Well, we're going to quickly jump into comms now. Let's take a look at what Myztro EU are saying as they build up for this quad.
Heavy 57.
Galena is dead.
I'm coming rockets. I'm pushing heavy. Power up.
Galena is very low.
Burst is strong. He's stacked as fuck. Just hide. Don't spawn. Don't spawn.
He's on Mega. He's going. He sees you. He sees you. Don't show yourself. He's hiding behind the wall.
Run.
Visor must be low. He's going LG.
Mega spawns now.
And as you heard there, Sparty saying Cooler's stacked AF. And he indeed was there with that HP, able to push and punish them. But you also heard them understanding, yeah, just hold spawns. Don't feed him kills. And we've seen a lot of teams like Princess Pompa just before in the match prior just rush down quad carriers and be dropping an extra 3 frags they didn't need to. So great awareness.
Yeah, you can see there's a sense of urgency as well about it. It's a small map. You've got to be incredibly quick to think in terms of avoiding the power-up carriers. So it really is constant information. How the hell am I going to be able to get away from him?
This is the biggest lead we've had, actually, for one of the teams in this match. I mean, we're 11 minutes in, and it's typically we see a lot more frags in this at this rate. So definitely one of the slower-paced games we've had on Awoken. And Cooler is maintaining that stack. He's got the overstack on HP.
Well, with that 5 frag lead, now they can go back to their super slow style and try and hold it.
Yeah.
3.5 minutes to go. I mean, in a duel situation, previously we had 3.5 minutes and you're up a frag. Maybe you could even start thinking, you know what, given the map and circumstances, I just want to protect my lead.
And not to mention, they don't have to worry about a visor, because they can play even slower because of that, because they know they're not going to be pushed on. They're not going to have the information given away of where they currently are. Obviously, Myztro will have a sense of that, but they won't be able to have the vision that Cooler currently does have.
Are they going to go in for this? Because it could be dangerous if they got a bad position. If they can just do good damage and stop it from being a strong power.
There should be a second rail. Oh, they should be able to take down Razy. He's got heavy, but he's kind of by himself. Sparty's trying to back up for the backside. Razy gets a kill on Latromi. Now they have to give up protection. There's no way. Yeah, and Razy's stacked enough.
It's just those missed rails from Cooler. They're not having that extra pressure. They're going to go on him a little bit now and try and make it hard for Razy to push it through. But picking off Cooler, that's going to be enough for him to think, you know what, I can chase down Latromi. He's giving a lot of respect there.
Yeah.
I think needing that LG, actually, that ammunition, that's going to help out a bit.
So they're going to net 2, maybe 3 here. This Cooler will fall. So that does pull them back within 2. So they turn the 5 frag lead into just a 2 frag lead. And maybe even just a 1 here as he gets the punch off. Actually, this is like one of the first times I see him even use Berserk in this match. Now that I think about it. And he's not sure what totems those are. Actually, no, he is sure. He just wanted to make sure they kill him with the rockets. But almost tied up yet again here, Zoot, at the 13-minute mark.
But I think we're about to see it now, in fact. So 231, they're even going to take the lead of that. A 2 for nothing. With 2 minutes to go, we've got one final power-up to take place on Awoken. Unless, of course, we're getting into some overtimes.
And let's take a look at the scoreboard really quickly for people at home, as we're so close between the two, only 2 frags. Cooler is actually currently leading with 22 frags compared to the 10 of Latromi. And then on the other side, Razy at 21 to the 13 of Sparty. So Cooler's definitely starting to step up, as you mentioned. I mean, he's a veteran when it comes to LAN. He's used to this experience, and he's really performing well.
Rails all over the place. So highly enabled when you've got that piercing sight working for you. Getting the lead towards a squad. They've recognized, all right, protection, maybe we didn't have to force everything onto that, but quad, yeah, we've really got to go for this. Our lead is not significant whatsoever. We've got to win this quad.
And look how stacked Cooler is, too. If he can maintain this, Mega's up
Going
to
for
10.
a flank.
Ooh, Sparty's gonna get bounced. Nice little double jump there. But again, he can't really contest this. He's just got to run away. And they're gonna give the stack over to Cooler. If he can transition from this, if he can maintain this stack without being chipped away at, this could be a big quad for them. This could be the game-winning quad.
Yep, there's 5 seconds until it spawns. It's a little bit late off the mark, but Latromi's just hitting rails anyway. I think it's going to be Cooler to get a quad to possibly close out this game.
Here's
now 6 frag advantage. Machine gun is just ready to go straight away. The rail to follow up. Beautiful combos by him. And now it's a case of just don't lose the quad, and you're absolutely fine.
And you can't harsh on Myztro right now for being aggressive. They have to get the kills. They need this quad. They have 30 seconds left, and they are down 9 frags. They have to throw themselves at this just to take this away from Cooler and hope for some sort of combo, some sort of amount of kills. They're going to get 1 here, but now with the lead that AMD do have, just hope the spawns, 20 seconds left. There's no real chance that Myztro can come back into this. Even Cooler just retreating, disengaging that fight, and getting the kill into Razy. And I think AMD is going to get the first map of the series.
What has Cooler been doing in this map? He's been hitting some amazing shots.
That's why he's called the Cooler.
No, that's it. So he's earned
98.
Earned the
98, Zoot, 98.
Well, guys, that is GG in map 1. It's so close to the end, but AMD able to pick it up. In the last 90 seconds or so, it went from basically a tied game to well, almost, yeah, exactly 10 frags in the lead.
Yeah.
32 frags for Cooler. Only 13 for Latromi, but you can't say he wasn't doing his job if their team is scoring like that. 21 for Razy, 14 for Sparty. Sparty suffering quite a lot. Or similar frags to Latromi, but 27 deaths instead of 23.
And we're seeing, just there on that map alone, like how important it is to have a visor. Like, especially if you're the team, actually not even especially, if you're the team attacking the rail area or the team defending the rail area, if you hit that first rail, or you do that early damage, attacking or defending, it gives you such a big advantage to taking that point away. And that is the pivot point of the map. And that's why we've been questioning why Myztro has been playing Doom instead of a Visor, and then playing Visor in some maps we could get away with the Doom.
You have so much extra information if you're a Visor at the moment, and your speed around the map is even faster as well. Even if you put Berserk in it when you get immediate 550 UPS, it's still the Visor having the speed all the time. It's such a fantastic asset.
And on that map in particular, because it's so circular, having Piercing Sight for a quad or protection, I would say on average would net you like an additional 2 kills. It could turn a 0-kill run into like a 3-4 kill run.
Yeah, completely. Guys, we're going to go on a very short break before we move into the next map, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the rest of AMD versus Myztro in just a second.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Quake 2v2 Open here at Dreamhack Tours. I'm Jason Kaplan, and we have an upgrade here on the desk.
An upgrade?
An upgrade. We've got Dewey here replacing Zoot to bring us some analysis into these matches. First of all, Dewey, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. I'm loving the Quake. The first map between Myztro and AMD was pretty insane, so that was a lot of fun to watch, very close, and very well played by both teams.
Yeah, and I obviously want to give you the chance to talk about yesterday really quickly as we're getting ready with the next match, since we didn't get to interview you guys. How'd you feel like yesterday went?
I was not disappointed with our second match. I feel like we were very competitive. We really focused on trying to control what we could control, and we definitely played better as the day went on. So I was very pleased with the fact that we were highly competitive the last map. It came down to 1 or 2 quads. We didn't, have some of the issues we had in prior tournaments where we were losing by a lot when we lost and winning by a lot when we won. Every game was close, so I'm not disappointed. I'm sad that we lost, but I'm happy with the fact that we stuck with our process. How
was your guys' scrims coming into this tournament? What kind of teams did you play?
Well, we played Liquid, both of them, and then we played Venom and Effortless. We played Ascent, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it, and we played Total Recall as well. So we were really scrimming a wide variety of teams, and in general, our results were fair. I would say that they were not as strong as maybe a little earlier in the year.
Okay.
So it was not terrible, but it was not like, oh, we were just setting the world on fire.
Right, right. And then looking at the teams we have coming into the entirety of day 2, who do you think is the team to beat? Who do you think is going to be at the top?
I got to watch Silence Up and Claws. They were not on stream, and Sleep to Awake, man, they were. It's impressive when you see it online and you're like, oh yeah, they're really good aimers, and then you watch it in person. So they're definitely there. I think I've got to go with Myztro EU. At the end of the day, I
wonder why.
I can't imagine. No, at the end of the day, I feel like Sparty and Razy are 2 of the most talented players on the planet. On any given day, they could really do some damage in a tournament.
Okay.
But then at the same time, the team they're playing right now, AMD has really impressed me with the fact that they're running a more conservative strategy, a more controlled strategy, and then you've got to count Liquid in. You've got to count Liquid.
I mean, yeah, you have to, right?
They're just very consistent, and they're going to show up ready to play every day, and that's what you're getting with them.
So to kind of focus on this match then with AMD up against Myztro EU, Zoot and I have been trying to theorize and talk about the lack of visor in Myztro EU. We've seen a lot of Doom in some situations that we saw were a little bit questionable, for instance, Awoken. What's your personal thoughts on the Doom Galena versus the visor Galena?
I think it was a comfort thing for them. Okay. I talked with them before, and I said, what are you running? And it really sounded like it came down to, we were more comfortable with this. This is what we're confident in. And, when you have a few different champs in meta, it'd be one thing if it were maybe just 1 or 2 champs that were particularly strong. But since there's 3, and if you ask Total Recall, you got 4 or 5 now. You got Keel and you got BJ thrown in there. But since there's 3 champs in meta, you've kind of got that flexibility of, okay, we know what we have to pretty much play to have some degree of success here. But at the end of the day, if you're not comfortable, this is LAN. It's a lot different. There's nerves. There's a lot more to play here. You really need to make sure, okay, I'm confident, I'm comfortable, I'm in control of myself. I know I can play this and roll with that. So I really can't fault them for not playing visor, especially with as strong as Doom is on Awoken.
Okay, and then looking into the champions in general, do you think there's some champions out there that aren't being played that should? Because I think one thing that we talk about in EU is that a lot of the European players are more set in their ways. They just want to play this champion and this one only. They're not open to experimenting.
I would say at the time, Total Recall impressed me with their Keel and BJ strategy. And then I think Liquid's been very impressive with kind of their Strog, Galena health combo, really focusing on that stack. So.
Okay, well, we are into game here. It's going to be Corrupt to keep. Currently, AMD with a 1-0 lead. We're going to tag along with Cooler off the bat. And again, speaking of the Doom, the Doom Galena, we are going to see it yet again with Razy and Sparty. Do you have any initial thoughts on that with Doom here on Corrupt to keep?
I actually think that Myztro's got the comp advantage here. I believe that Visor's value added, depending on how AMD plays this, if they play very passive, maybe they'll get more value out of him. But I think the Doom value add on the quads and the protections is just so high. With that floor being so wide open, he can run around and have a ball.
Yeah, the Berserk, as we saw.
It's insane. So I think they actually have a comp advantage here.
And speaking of the way AMD played, as you mentioned before, this is definitely one of the maps I feel like that can fit into their style. They, like in the past, what we've seen Cooler and Latromi do is just sit up towards LG, sit towards Statue, just chill there, and force them to come to you when you can play with the LGs. And especially if you're Doom in that situation, you're going to kind of obviously not want to fight that. But we also do call it Razy's Keep for a reason.
Yes, I think at the end of the day, the meta on this map has definitely been, you know, stick with LG, stick with something that's conservative, don't give up too many frags, because once they start rolling, as we're seeing right here, 4 frags for Myztro in a minute, it's kind of hard to stop the ball from rolling on this map.
Right, and also speaking of Myztro, we've kind of seen over time that there's something about the second power-up that comes in, like the second to third power-up, that they always seem to just hit their stride, Myztro EU. They always seem to just pick up and rack up frag after frag after frag, and we've been unable to figure out necessarily why, but maybe you have some insight into maybe their style that kind of allows them to do that?
I think Sparty's a very experienced player, and he's a very player reading type of player. He's really looking to look at the other team and figure out, you know, okay, this is what they're doing, this is what we do well. Let's see how this plays together. So it actually would make a lot of sense that the second power-up would run a little better, or third power-up would run a little better for them, because maybe he's had a little time to read, okay, this is what they're doing, like, this is what we can do to kind of combat that situation.
Oh, well, speaking of power-ups, Cooler gets caught off guard towards LG room, and Latromi's gonna die immediately after that, allowing Myztro to pick up the first quad, and as you're saying, get going. They're up 10-5 now, and with the quad advantage, gonna look to push up. Sparty trying to chase down on some more. Mega's gonna spawn in. It looks like Latromi will take that away. Actually, that's Cooler taking it away and trying to limit what Sparty can do with them, prevent him from being even more scary. But then again, if you're Cooler here, you're locked in towards Statue, and you almost know your time is coming to an end. And now 12-5. Myztro EU looking good.
Yeah, I think the big thing that I saw right there was that Myztro EU pushed in down low to make sure that they got that mega time. And so now they're going in after the quad and saying, okay, we've forced you off of, you know, off of this quad. We'll have both item timings, even if we lose control here for a second, which it looks like they kind of did there for a bit. We have that mega time, and they're able to run right over it and kind of convert.
I love to see the Gauntlet come out trying to go head-to-head against a punching Doomslayer, but in the end, Razy gets a kill, gets a second, and Myztro EU up 10 frags now. They're just showing no signs of stopping. I guess that break they did have to talk things over and figure things out have definitely worked out for them. Razy, 9 HP left from the high ground, trying to attack on the Cooler and Latromi. And Cooler actually pick himself up a double, and somehow Latromi dies to another totem. I swear Zoot's curse is sticking around.
Hey, those totem frags, those last second totem frags, it's a Hail Mary, but it works out occasionally. Unfortunately, you lose the health benefit, which I think is the real strength. Oh, what a nice rocket. Wow.
See, thank you for saying that, because I've been like a big proponent of saying that the healing off the totem is more valuable than the damage, especially if you can go to a map like Ruins of Sarnath where you can hide a lot of the totems and use those for constant healing.
Well, I think you see it more from the NA teams than teams like I watched Silence F Claws, even you know, when you see some of Zron and Tox, those heavier combat type teams, they do seem to use that totem's protection ability a little more, like throwing it in front of themselves when they go into a fight. So they're definitely using it for the combat. But the NA teams, the teams like Liquid, they're definitely they're using it for that health benefit.
Well, we did see the power-up being taken initially by Razy, but a good job by Latromi to get as much damage down as possible so Cooler could come in, finish off the 2 HP target, pick up protection himself. Latromi's actually still fighting in towards Statue Room, towards Mega. He gets himself a double kill, and Cooler's like, come on, man, save some for me. Drop down from the high ground, he's going to catch out. Looks like Sparty, get a kill. And that 10 frag lead that we did see Myztro have has now been dwindled down just a measly 3. Good job by AMD to really come back here when it honestly seemed like Myztro had that full control.
Well, I think what we're seeing here is more of the same from last map, which was that Myztro is playing a very solid game, but when they go back and watch, you know, the VOD, they're going to say, wow, there was really just 4 or 5 frags that we didn't need to give up, that they didn't need to happen. And I think that's kind of what just happened there was, yes, they lost the power-up, they were going to give up some kills, but there was definitely a few extra kills thrown in there that probably just didn't need to happen, and now you've got a much closer game than you would like after jumping out ahead.
Ooh, that was a lot of damage from Sparty, but again, has a totem off to the side. The totem should be up relatively soon as well. It has 1 down, and she's going to back off towards Heavy, which will spawn in right now. The thing that I love about Sparty is that he plays super supporty for his team. Like, he always gives Razy every ability, every power-up, every item he can to allow Razy to excel. Because Razy, I mean, he has the combat skills to kind of allow that thing to happen.
I think you're right, and I think if you ever get to meet Sparty as a person, that's really his personality is, he's a very humble person, and he's very much about helping other players develop, helping other players kind of come into their own, and I don't think he minds that role of like, hey, you're the better aimer, take this red armor. Okay, thank you. Like it's not in his mind. It's all about his teammates. It's all about winning.
I love those kind of teammates, honestly. And well, Power Up coming back in quad. That's a great timing on that double kill. I don't see anyone even getting close to contesting this. Razy's gonna get it, but Cooler comes in big with a nice nail gun kill from long range. Sparty, he's healthy enough, and you know what? Now it's time to shine. He's a team player, but he loves when he gets quad.
Oh, it's time to go. It's go time, baby.
It's like, this is my time, this is my moment, and then Razy steals a kill away from him and makes him sad.
I'm sure he doesn't mind.
Yeah, true. That is his style. And Mega, I think, was taken by Razy, so off the back of getting quad and the double kill before, they get a lot of control around the map. Just as I said that, Latromi picks up a kill onto Sparty. Razy's not healthy, but then again, quad is going to be done in just a second or two. He does get one more kill before it fades away. And Myztro EU spreading their legs, get a 7-kill lead now.
I think that's the best feeling in the world when you have like 20 health and quad's almost out. And if quad runs out before he runs into that room, he's dead for sure. But because it doesn't run out, he gets that extra frag. Oh, that's a nice kill.
I mean, mid-air rockets are always amazing to see. Like, rockets to rails are amazing, but shotguns, you can never underestimate those. The fat meat shots you can get with them point blank against your enemy. Razy gonna get a kill onto Latromi, gets that Berserk off. We're actually heading into protection relatively soon. We have 3 kill difference between Razy and Sparty, whereas Cooler and Latromi, as you can see, it's quite a different story. And Latromi's, at least in the past, always been the big player for the team. It seems like Cooler's like the mastermind, tells Latromi what to do, and Latromi plays very selfishly, but in a good way with his totems. But it seems like Cooler, when it comes to showing up on land, really starts to shine.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about them is their quad runs are very, very well thought out. They don't seem to, well, they definitely have a defined role in who's supposed to take the risks when it comes to quads. I watched Cooler take a couple quad runs yesterday, and he was railing and going for these shots, and then I watched Latromi, and it's almost all LG and MG, and it's like, okay, obviously one of them is defined as, hey, I'm supposed to play a little more conservative, this is my job's not to give anything away, and then the other one's like, okay, you know what, it's just time to go.
Well, speaking of power-ups, let's actually take a listen in with Myztro EU when it comes to this next protection.
Oh, fuck. You're pushing me.
I can't help.
I'm going shaft.
Take my gun.
Heavy 53. Heavy up, heavy up.
They have it, don't bother. I'm coming back to machine gun, I'm low.
I'm weak, pulling back. Good machine
Galena
gun.
is low. Galena low tunnel. I'm low. Do you have totem?
No. 15
And
seconds.
Sparty really going off there with the protection, the rocket jumping as well to get them around the map. Did a fantastic job, and it's actually linked them again back to a 10 frag difference.
I love it because I love the passion that comes out of these players, and I don't mean it in probably the way you think, but I think what really comes down to is that you spend so much time with your partner that you really do care how you perform for them. It really matters to you, like, and so the passion that you hear. Yes, it's sometimes it can be a little over the top, but I do believe genuinely that you hear him yelling, "Hey, this item's now, this item's now," and it's kind of what you said before of, "Hey, Sparty's the support player, that's his job, and he's going to make sure Razy doesn't have to think about, hey, I don't have to worry about the item time. Sparty's going to tell me my job is to come in here and kill everybody." Like that's my role here, and I'm going to do it really well, and that's what's going on right now.
I like how it's basically, like you said, like Razy's playing as just a fragger, but Sparty's like feeding him the information. Like Razy's computer, and he gives you the info like, all right, Mega at this time, Heavy at this time, I'm falling back, that guy's low, and Razy's like computing it all in his head and then making the plays happen off the back of that. And it kind of shows that there's a clear line of communication. Quad's about to come up.
This is like a backbreaker right here.
Well, speaking of that, Latromi gets it, and you're talking about the LG with him and quad. He gets himself a double kill, and this is so needed. They're down 5 frags. They need to come back here into this match because Myztro EU are 8 rounds away from taking it to a third. Latromi very low on health. He's going to have his own totem up in just a second. He can continue to play aggressive, and he catches them out yet again. He's going to catch both of them for another 2 frags. I think that's about 5 for him on this run. And you said exactly this, Dewey. When they go for quads, they seem to have everything planned out, exactly what to do with it, and they've made it work. That's going to be a 6th kill. That was fantastic out of Latromi.
Yes, one thing that we kind of going into that, I said it's going to be a backbreaker because it was either going to make or break AMD's chances to get back in this match, and they obviously performed very well. And they probably knew that as well. I mean, they knew, hey, if we don't make something happen here, it's going to get a lot tougher on a protection at 12 minutes to get back into this thing. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Like how Latromi just uses his own body to kill Razy with the rocket there. Again, he just seems to be on fire right now. He's spun out whenever they come from. He gets a totem kill into Sparty. Razy looking to take away Mega potentially, but it's not for a long time. He gets the punch onto Latromi. Ties things up yet again here at 43 apiece. Time is not going to be a factor because it comes down to who gets these next 7 frags. And protection up in 40 seconds. I would imagine we're going to actually reach that point. Cooler comes in with another rocket. Razy gets the return kill. Latromi going to push the statue most likely. Gets a kill into Razy. Gets the 2 for 1. Can he get that third? He's got the totem. He's expecting the teleporter to come through. He's in and out in a 1-on-2 situation. But can he get Sparty before he does that? No. But Cooler comes in. He gets another frag. And he's still looking for the second. Razy gets juggled by the nail gun. And now 3 to go for AMD.
This is why 2v2 is fun to watch. I mean, it's all map, you know, very controlled, very slowed, very paced, and then boom, the game just goes.
And Razy goes in, he dies again, and he cannot be throwing away frags. They're 5 off. AMD now 2 away, protection in 10 seconds. It all comes down to this. Myztro can easily come back if they can secure it. They're trying to do some early chip damage out of Sparty before they do get that protection. And even block off one of the areas with the totem. That's going to be Latromi going in. Latromi gets taken out. Cooler tries to pick it up. He does get it. In fact, he's got a lot of HP to work with. He gets the first. Can he get the last one? Not just yet. Latromi comes in from the back. They're pushing him in towards narrow room. And there you go. AMD off the back of Latromi in the quad. Off of Cooler securing that protection. They get themselves through into the winner bracket match to play against Team Liquid. That was good.
That was very
nice.
well played. That was very well played by AMD. I mean, at the end of the day, they came in with probably the most advanced strategy that I've seen so far. Really letting the game develop, letting things happen. Okay, we're gonna pace you. We're gonna pace you 1 for 1. We're gonna pace you 1 for 1. There's your mistake. You lose every single time. And it's very. I mean, you watched the games versus Venom and Effortless yesterday. Very similar. I mean, they were saying, oh, it's so low scoring. It was 30 to, I think, 20 or 15 on Sarnath, and you never see that. Normally, that map goes 50 frags and it's over. So you're seeing a game where on Sarnath yesterday, they're taking rail, taking LG, running up LG stairs, and then shooting rails at them, and then dropping to red. That's okay. We don't want to fight. And I really believe that they were playing the very similar game here. Hey, they lost control. They lost the lead.
Yeah, they were down by 10 frags.
Yes, I mean they were really out of control of the situation, and they just said, hey, we're going to pace you. We'll play you 1 for 1. And guess what? Towards the end of the game, we think you'll make a mistake, and our gamble has paid off so far for us.
And Cooler finished with 29 frags, Latromi with 21. But keep in mind, 7 of those 21 came in at the most crucial time off of that quad and closed that gap from being, well, it was like 7 frags to time things up. And at such a crucial point in the map. But look at the Myztro guys. We obviously, they're not out just yet. They still have those, or the elimination bracket. Can't call it the loser anymore. You know, everyone's got to be a winner. Call it elimination match. All in all, from what you know about the team and the players, how do you feel like that match went for them? Even though they did lose, do you still feel like they're playing like the Myztro that we know, or do you think there was some mistakes that we could clearly see?
I think that they can look back and say, okay, there were probably 5 to 10 frags on either map that we did not have to give up.
Yeah.
And we need to clean that up, and if we clean that up, then we're winning. And that's okay. Those types of games happen. You get heated, you get passionate. It's a tournament. You want to win. Everybody wants to win. And so you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. And I really feel like there was a few quad runs, one on Keep there, where I think they really ran away with 6 or Latromi ran away with 7 or 8 frags on a quad. And if you think about just the spawn delay, 7-second spawn delay. If you just delay your spawn for 7 seconds and they don't have Visor's ultimate up, I mean, you still will get a better net return than 8 frags if you just delay it out.
That 7 could have been maybe 4
or 5.
And then they would have been Myztro with the lead, and then going into protection, forcing AMD to make a mistake.
Make a play. So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, they just waited them out, and they said, hey, we think you'll make a mistake. They did. So I think Myztro needs to look at it as we didn't play poorly, because they didn't play poorly. It would have been a lot worse if they did. But we made 1 or 2 mistakes. Let's clean it up. Go into the elimination game with, you know, the mentality of, hey, we've got to make it happen here. Let's fix it, clean it up, and we'll be okay.
So they are going to be playing against Pampa as their next match. The match we're going to next is going to be Liquid up against AMD. Before we do head to a short break, what's your thoughts on this match initially?
I think Liquid has the upper hand because they are so solid in everything that they do, and they adapt very well. So you might, if I had to predict, you might see AMD take a map.
You think Liquid get the 2?
Oh yes, and in my experience, we've played them in some double elimination tournaments, and we've taken matches off of them, and then they come back and you're playing like the best team. They're the best team on the planet. They figured you out, and so I think you might see AMD take a map. But at the end of the day, I think Liquid's going to make that adjustment. That is what they do well. They are the most professional team in terms of making adjustments. They treat it like a science, and that's what they do. So I think Liquid takes this one.
All right, well, guys, we do have to head to break, but when we come back, it's going to be Liquid, it's going to be AMD, and it's going to be a match for the ages. We'll see you soon.